Welcome to Soul Conversations. I'm your host, Kathryn Costa from TrueNorthArts.com. Joining me today is Elizabeth Wood. And we recently met up because Elizabeth invited me to be one of her guest speakers at an upcoming self-care summit. And after we had our great conversation, I thought it would be wonderful for you to get to meet her and to learn more about this summit. Because you know what, in this time of all the stress with the pandemic, I think we all need some extra tender loving care and support in the realm of self-care. So let me tell you a little bit about Elizabeth Wood. She helps people connect with themselves through movement, breathing techniques, and meditation. She encourages others to explore gentle, persistent self-care to build resilience and strength. Really like that word resilience, and look forward to exploring that topic a little bit more with her today. Elizabeth is based out of Columbus, Ohio, and she teaches yoga for teens and adults, and she's a Reiki master teacher. Welcome, Elizabeth.
Thank you for having me here, Kathryn.
Yeah. Well, one thing I'm really love about you is your gentle presence. And I think even just being around people like you, that can help others to open up, their heart rate variability, really reduce stress. We need to be around positive people like you. Tell us a little bit more about your background and what led you to offering this self-care summit at this time.
Well, I have a journalism degree, and I spent more than 10 years in print journalism, and stressful position. And life things came up. I was ignoring myself for many years. I was performing self-care as if it were something on my to-do list and just checking it off. Like, it's done. I did it. I didn't necessarily enjoy it. But it's done, and I'm doing just enough to get by. But the combination of life stress, work stress, it catches up with you after time. And it became clear to me when I was sitting in a hospital bed and I had a baby and a toddler at home that I couldn't ignore myself anymore.
Yeah.
I needed to take care of myself so that I could be around for the other people in my life that I love and I want to take care of. And I wanted to lead by example, not just by telling them to take care of themselves and then not doing it myself, but to actually be thriving in my own life. And maybe that could set a good example for others that I love and people that I don't even know, maybe people that I just connect with at a class that I teach, and I maybe don't even speak with them, but maybe they're inspired to take care of themselves. And so that led to the Self-Care Summit. Down the road, I left journalism, became a yoga teacher, studied Reiki, became a Reiki master teacher, and I really enjoy sharing that with others. But COVID-19 really inspired the Self-Care Summit because there was a Sunday in March. I taught, it was a sold out workshop, a meditation workshop at a yoga studio, and there were more than 20 people there. And by the end of the week, many of the yoga studios here in Central Ohio had closed, and schools were closing, businesses were closing, and all of my in-person events and workshops and things were getting canceled.
Yeah.
And we needed self-care more now. I think, it's just very, very important always, but it's really, really important to buckle down and maybe see what you enjoy and follow that joy. And so out of a need to connect with others at a time when we were being asked to stay home, I thought, well, we're using this lovely technology, Zoom and YouTube and Facebook and Instagram to connect with others. Why not connect with others in a way that's supportive to others and also to myself during this very stressful time collectively all over the world?
Yeah, I'm curious to learn more about this summit. And when one's planning a summit, you've got the theme, you've got this vision, you want to bring together people who are going to share their experience and their expertise with self-care. What makes this self-care summit different than other summits perhaps that may be out there? Because I know a lot of different people are offering things. And also tell us a little bit about the type of people that you sought out and to curate and to bring this experience together. What were you looking for to offer people as an experience? Because we hear self-care all the time, and we all know this. But what are you looking to achieve with this particular online experience for your audience?
Mm-hmm. Well, my hope is that those watching will connect with at least one thing. We have more than 20 speakers. Each one is speaking on a particular topic that they love, something that they do as self-care. And they're talking about how it benefits them and why they do it, how long they've been doing it, what happens when they get off track, and also providing tips to the summit attendees on how they too can incorporate that into their lives. And a lot of these ideas are free or very low cost. They just really require, it might be grocery store items or something that you already have at home, maybe a pen and paper, and you've got some journaling prompts to consider. Maybe it's a meditation that I know you led a beautiful meditation during our interview. That's something that, just watching the video, it's free. And we have more than 20 speakers. They're from various parts of the world, a lot from the US, but also some from Europe, some from Australia. And they're really, not only do they practice these self-care techniques, but oftentimes they teach them to others. And I was really looking for a variety of voices. So people with different viewpoints. I didn't want, for example, 20 plus interviews of people saying the exact same thing.
Right.
That's not necessarily helpful. But so for example, some of the topics we cover include boundary setting as a foundational self-care practice. And that was an interview with a family therapist and psychotherapist. Another topic, shedding what you think you should do, but don't really want to do. Spoke with a life coach about that. Visualization with a birth doula. And Ayurveda practice of hair abhyanga with a third generation Ayurvedic practitioner. That was a lovely interview as well. Self-care planning, I spoke about that with a self-care coach. You and I spoke about meditating with mandalas and creating art as a spiritual practice. And along the way, I had a lot of goosebump moments, I have to tell you. Those times it's like butterflies in the stomach. As speakers are speaking, just these things that come up during the interviews, these magical moments. I sometimes refer to them as life glitter, where you're
Life
just like, is
glitter,
this
I love that.
real? Yeah, life glitter. Where you can't help but just be in the moment, be in the feeling of it. And I'm so excited to share these interviews with others. And there have been times when I'm feeling these life glitter moments, these goosebumps, where I remember that I'm not really in control of this thing. I could not have done this on my own. I wouldn't be that interesting for 25 interviews about self-care for one, or 20 interviews, but yes, I named the summit. I invited the speakers, I'm doing the interviews, but it's definitely bigger than me. It's become this powerful wave, if you will. I love that visual of a wave of love and support during this really, really stressful time.
I am sure that throughout your series, for those who tune in, there are going to be some helpful reminders. I know for myself, I will set out with good intentions on forming a new routine and all that, and then all of a sudden life happens, I get distracted. Something like this can be very helpful and saying, oh yeah, I know that's good for me. I'm going to recommit to that. But there may also be some surprises along the way, like, something new to discover. Can you share with us maybe one of your whoa discovery moments? I mean, not to give away the summit, but maybe just a little insight on something that for you going into it, you had no idea it was going to pop up for you.
Yeah, something as small as I had practiced, I mentioned the hair abhyanga. It's an Ayurvedic practice.
So what's hair abhyanga? I mean, I was kind of
It's
curious when
using
you said that.
it's using oil in your hair. Which
Okay.
sounds like, oh, okay, well, why do I do that? It has benefits for the hair, and it turns out it's a very grounding and calming practice that you can do every day or a few times per week. And I'm a yoga teacher. I like to explore Ayurvedic practices, but I'm not an expert on it. And I had actually tried this practice before, and I kind of gave it up. I saw benefits in my hair where it was, just very vibrant and things, but I didn't stick with it. And then in this interview, hearing this speaker talk about, this was her family tradition, that she's a third generation Ayurvedic practitioner. And from the time when she was very, very young, maybe even just a day or a few days old, this was a tradition in her family. And she got off track and didn't do it for some periods of time in her life. But
Yeah.
she really notices that she
She can
feels
see
very
the
on, like it's
difference,
just
right?
very connected. Yeah. That's very supportive to her. And then she goes on to describe the process. And I'm, kind of, wow, I was doing this all wrong, when I was trying it myself. And when I abandoned that self-care practice. And I'm super excited to try it again. And it just really sparked my interest. And I didn't expect that. And
Well,
hopefully,
when you mentioned oil, one thing that I associate with Ayurveda, and I've done some Ayurvedic cleanses and have adopted some different practices here and there in my daily routine. But one thing that I've noticed as a key ingredient in Ayurvedic is working with oils, whether it's to lubricate and to nourish inside your nostrils. Here, oh yeah, there's so many ways that uh, I see in those self-care practices with our bodies on the outside, as well as the foods that we create, how important oil is in um, supporting us in living a vibrant, healthy life.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even consuming ghee and oil,
Right,
and
right.
those types of things. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's in the process of when we're touching our hair or maybe oiling our skin, maybe we didn't notice our skin was so dry, or maybe then we could think about drinking more water or getting more sleep if we're feeling tired, or just really taking that time to notice yourself and pay attention to yourself.
Exactly. That's probably one of the biggest takeaways for myself, is that once I start paying attention again, is really showing up and paying attention, becoming aware of what's happening and what is it that we need. Because it's so easy to get distracted, and I'm so much in my head or my other things that I'm doing that I've often neglected my body. This is really perfect timing, because I think with COVID, I have done some neglecting. I haven't been eating well. I've packed on some weight. And so I'm not being hard and critical of myself. It's just one of the truth telling and saying, wow, I'm really looking forward to learning from your experts who are going to spark different ideas and get some of that soul glitter going and sprinkle some of that um, beauty and inspiration to help us all. So tell me some of the logistics of this summit. When does it start? And I know we'll be providing a link below this video so people can easily sign up.
Yeah, this is a free online event. So it's free to sign up, free to attend, and it begins on Wednesday, September 16th. And so that'll be the first day. Each day of the summit will release multiple interviews, and they're pre recorded. They're between 15 and 25 minutes. So hopefully, short enough. Long enough so that you can get the info that you need, but short enough that you can fit it into your day. And I know our time is valuable and we all have lots going on, but maybe as you're brushing your teeth or getting ready, you can play a video, or maybe as you're driving to work or the grocery store, you can play another one and listen in and see what interests you.
I thought that a great way for us to conclude this interview is for you to bring your expertise to the table with guiding people in breathing techniques. Maybe you can offer us a technique we can do in this moment that will help us to get grounded and centered.
I would love to. So get comfortable. You might even pause this video for a moment. Maybe you want to be seated, maybe standing, maybe even lying down. There might be a blanket nearby or a pillow you could put under your head or support under your feet. And you might keep your eyes open, or you might allow your eyes to begin to close. Whether your eyes open or closed, beginning to notice your surroundings with your other senses. So maybe there are sounds in the background. You're hearing the sound of my voice. Noticing the temperature of the air. Noticing the support of the chair or the ground, the surface below you. And maybe noticing if there's a sense of holding on, or if there's a sense of tension in your body, if there's a sense that you're having to work very hard to hold yourself up. And if you're seated or lying down, maybe allowing the ground or the surface that you're resting on to support you even more, giving your weight to that surface. Beginning to draw the attention inward, noticing your breathing. You might be witnessing that your breathing is fast. Maybe your breathing is slow. Maybe inviting a sense of not needing to change a single thing about how your breathing is. But taking this time to be with yourself. And if it feels right in your body, you might start to deepen the breath. Maybe as you breathe in, you invite the belly to fill with air. And as you breathe out, releasing. Maybe taking a few more belly breaths, just like this. Maybe receiving another belly breath in, filling the belly with air, and breathing out and releasing. Starting to return to your regular breathing. Noticing any effects, if any, from this very brief breathing practice. And maybe inviting the corners of your mouth to turn upward ever so slightly, or maybe inviting a big smile. And as you're ready, beginning to open your eyes or raising your gaze. And we're ready for the rest of your day or your evening.
Thank you, Elizabeth. I feel so relaxed and more at ease. And I know that when we cultivate that energy within us, then that helps us to invite more of that into the rest of our day. Thank you so much, Elizabeth, for joining us today. Do you have any last thoughts or comments that you'd like to make before we close?
Well, I just want to remind everyone that we can't take care of others unless we take care of ourselves first. And I really hope that the name of the summit is the Self-Care Summit. Find your spark, build resilience, and thrive. And that is my hope for you. Whether you get to tune in or not, that you find what brings you joy and you follow that joy, and that in doing so, maybe you can build resilience and strength and thrive.
Thank you, Elizabeth, for joining me today. It's been truly a pleasure.
Thanks for having me.